Hey everyone, welcome to another Reasons and Resources episode. So in this video we'll be looking at reasons and resources for learning Rust. Now long-term viewers of the channel will know that sometime around 2022 I did do a little series on Rust where I was going through and sort of teaching myself using the Rust book, as it's called, and then trying to impart that knowledge to this idea of trying to teach what you've learned as a way of learning it. So there are a series of videos which I'll include the playlist for in the descriptions if you're interested in seeing my sort of original run of those videos of me sort of navigating through the Rust book. So I was trying to think back, what was my original reason for learning it, and I think tied in to that video that there was a preamble I did to that series where I was just rambling on camera about my sort of exposure to various programming languages. And I think what happened was I'd noticed a trend in the Stack Overflow surveys for the top playing technologies, where from about 2017, which is when I first really started looking at it properly, from 2017 through to about 2022, Rust was always in the top 10 top paying technologies. And then I think in 2023, I think it went down to about 14, and then currently now, 2024, it was 13, I think, on the list of top paying. Well, we'll see in a moment. So at the time that I did that series, which was 2022, it was one of those, languages that was on my radar as things, I should learn about. And prior to that, I'd had a while dabbling with Clojure and then F#. So it was sort of next on my list. And there were other things on there like Elixir, but I always felt that I wanted to learn Erlang before I did that. And so you sort of tend to push things to one side, depending on, I suppose, what you think might be better off learning first, even though I think Elixir was higher up the list in terms of, year on year from 27 to 22, it turning up. So that was one reason. It was sort of on my radar. The other reason was that I felt I hadn't really kicked the tires of a systems programming language for quite a while. Probably not properly. I mean, I've done, languages, I suppose, that can do systems programming, but the last time I sort of properly explored a language which is associated with that is probably looking at C and its derivatives. So I thought it was a good opportunity to do it. The other thing that I got interested in and felt I really hadn't properly explored was immutability. So that was another reason. And a further reason was I was really interested in the Rust toolchain. I really just, as I sort of installed it to just look at the language quickly, something about it appealed to me on there. So that was really my reasons for like exploring the language and doing that series. Now, compelling reasons outside of that, or maybe connected with that, with some of these, as to why, Rust might be worth exploring, is you have this concept in it of there's an ownership system which helps guarantee memory safety without needing a garbage collector. So, if that's something that bothers you, like a lot of us, memory safety, then Rust is worth looking at. Performance-wise, there are certain ways in which Rust is put together, I suppose, which obviously has an impact on performance. As with a lot of modern programming languages, or relatively modern programming languages, you get to dabble with concurrency and you know, the sort of models that are put in place in these newer languages that have existed in a world where concurrency is a thing, you know, is a bigger thing, and how you deal with things like data races and other things you need to consider when you're writing safe concurrent programs. I mentioned already about the ecosystem. You know, I really like the tool chain on Rust, I must admit. And the fifth reason, I suppose, is when we look at the, you know, some of the other stats to do with its popularity. You know, there is industry demand, so it's definitely worthwhile. And with that, you know, you have to be a bit, not cautious, but I think with anything, when people start talking about industry demand, you know, do your own research a little bit there and just see where you are, and the sort of things you're interested in. You know, what is the demand like for whatever programming language I might mention. So we'll look at some resources in a moment to do with this. But before we break out of the safety blanket that is Wikipedia, just a few things I'll point out here. So, you know, the usual main article is always a good starting point, I feel. You've got a nice summary of what's going on and what it's been influenced by, what it influences. I keep looking at this. The amount of times VLAN comes up, I really need to check this language out. If anybody wants to make, you know, give me some pointers in the comments section, anybody's used it, maybe resources that they've used for VLAN, yeah, please share, because I definitely, my curiosity has been piqued, because since I've been doing like comparisons between influences by and influenced by for languages that I've been talking about as part or doing work for as part of my programming polyglot project, V's coming up a lot actually, so yeah, need to check it out. So I'll include links to the you know, the history, direct links to this, so you can sort of jump straight in, but of course you can get to that from the original article anyway. It's just further down the article. Syntax and features. Some of you may notice this sort of layout as being, you know, similar to other languages that, you know, it's actually based on, or it's influenced by. And you can see here how the layout of main looks, and block expressions, those sort of things. And we've got our friend some brackets here. What if expressions look like, else if else, those sort of things. It always makes me smile when I see the let statement. That's just because, you know, basic. It was basic. I remember let back in the day from basic, so I can't help but get a smile when I ever see the let statement in any language. Yeah, while loops, for loops, and so on. Loop break statements, pattern matching if that's your thing. Using match here, and yeah, there is some obviously equivalency there with if that let else. You can explore the goodies to do with the type system, and I go through a lot of this when I'm exploring the Rust book in my series that I did about Rust. And you know, I think my favourite bit, the ecosystem toolchain. So yeah, and the build system package manager. Those sort of things. And yeah, you got, obviously there's IDE support. So I think in the video that I did, I was using the toolchain to compile, but I was actually doing the editing in Visual Studio Code. So yeah. Okay, so where are we on the sort of Stack Overflow map, I suppose? Yeah, this is a very interesting yearly survey they do. So if we look at most popular scripting and markup languages, so we have the usual suspects. These come out, if you analyse the top 5 from the last, since about 2017, I suppose, or even before, whenever they cleaned it up a bit and aggregated HTML, CSS. I can't remember when exactly that was, whether it was 2017 or maybe 2020, sometime between those two dates, those 2 years. But you'll find that JavaScript, HTML, CSS, Python, SQL, TypeScript, they all occupy top 5, top 6, and then you get things like Java, C# and so on. And you go down the list, and anybody that's been programming for quite a while now and is interested in multiple languages, like me, you probably sees the usual suspects here. So we've got the group of C languages: PHP, PowerShell, Go, and there's Rust above Kotlin and Lua and Dart and Assembly and so on. So what was that, 12.6%? So I think I mentioned last year was about 14th place. So this year where Kotlin is. Also, this graph, of which it always, as you know, I always get confused about. So let's just hover over so we get it around the right way. So desired 28.7%. And admired is 82.2. So again, massive gap there. One of the bigger ones, like Elixir, actually. Yeah, the chasm. And then we have top paying technologies. So this is what piqued my interest originally when I was looking at stats. Like I say, from 2017 through to about 2022. As you can see, it's dropped down here a bit. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, yeah. In fact, I got that around the wrong way, didn't I? I said it on the previous chart, it was on 13, but I meant this chart actually. So previously, so it's 13 now, previously it was 14 last year. And then prior to that, from about, I think 2017, it had always consistently been in the top 10 in top paying technologies. So now we get on to resources. Again, very cool website. So that's going to be your starting point, really. And very cool book. I thoroughly recommend the book. I have a paper copy of it. I don't have the most recent paper copy. I bought the one that was out in 2022, so it would have been the 2018 one. The other one hadn't. There's a second edition hadn't quite come out at that point. But, which is even cooler, is the book you don't even have to buy because it's available on the website, the whole thing. So you can just work your way through this. And how do I know that? Because it actually says here, this edition of the book is the same as the Rust programming language, available in print and ebook format from No Starch Press. And when you click on it, ta-da! So yeah, this is a 2021 one. So I don't know why. Interesting. Yeah. I should check actually. Maybe I do have this version of it. Anyway, I have a version of it. For some reason, no, it's 2018 because I looked at the video actually. So yeah, somehow. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because look, it came out in December 2022. So I must have. Yeah, I did it earlier in the year, so that's why. Okay. So. But, like I said, I will include a link to this. So, you don't have to buy the book if you don't want to. I just wanted it for my library. You have a Rust playground, which is always cool. I do like this sort of thing, so you can play around. If you don't want to download the tool chain, kit up your particular editor to use it, then, yeah, you can just play around in here. There's a community page, so we've got user forums, internals forums, chat platforms, Discord, all those sort of things. There's This Week in Rust, contact email, and yeah, there's the I'll include a link to the No Starch Press book as well. I do love these books. I've got the nice Python one actually. I'm trying to remember which one my closure books published by. I think that might actually be O'Reilly, but anyway, yeah. I've got a really cool one about esoteric languages as well, from the same publisher. That's supposed to be a really good book, this Eloquent JavaScript, which is on my buy list. Then a number of just very interesting videos. Again, there's tons of stuff on YouTube. You really just got to search for it. I'm afraid I do tend to go for the same stuff. I'm a bit boring here, so you might want to search through, see if you can find your own lot of resources. But there's a really interesting video on the Computer File channel about Rust and RA2 memory management, or RAII, I can never remember which way around that is. Yeah. But yeah, about memory management. Then we've got a very interesting talk, and I've got the same talk but done on different years, because sometimes, bizarrely, I like to do this. So watch the talks when they've been done several years apart, and just see what the new stuff that the speaker's talking about as well, how they've changed their talk. So learning Rust the wrong way. And then we have Rust Nation UK as a channel that you might want to check out. So looks like we've got stuff that was, let's have a look, see, yeah, 1 month ago. So pretty cool. Yeah, Rust is on Exorcism, if you're a big Exorcism fan like I am. 98 practice exercises. If you used Exorcism before, yeah, the usual things on here. So I find it quite nice because you can cross compare how different functions might look, or sorry, the same function or the same thing, the same thing you're trying to solve, how the functions for that might look different in different languages, which is always fun. And then, shameless plug, yeah, my programming polyglot project, which if you're interested in, I will include a link. You can read all about it in About. Full disclosure, as part of this project, I am using large language models. That's the whole point of it. Yeah, that's a sort of reason for existence. But yeah, it's proving a very interesting and enlightening exercise. I'm sort of ticking off two things with here. I'm sort of dabbling in languages that I've never dabbled with. I'm dabbling in languages I have dabbled with but want to dabble further, and then I'm seeing how helpful large language models are in sort of learning about languages. So that's where I'm sort of going with this. Well, you can see here what I've done is I've actually got ahead of myself in that I've now in the grid filled in everything that I want to do for 2025 into 2026. The ones where there's content are the ones that are underlined now. So I'm filling this out. I've adopted a slightly new policy with it. Once I got through the original 14, of which Rust is one, from this Programming Language Explorations book, so the 14 chapters, the 14 main chapters, I then moved on to languages that are featured quickly in the 15th or 16th chapter, where it goes through certain types of programming languages, ones it hasn't spoken about already, and sort of groups them together. So you've got COBOL, Lisp, Algol, Similar, Smalltalk, APL, Prolog, and then other ones as well. And these are all grouped together in different ways. So what I've been doing is I've been going through anyone where I've been having a bit of a struggle getting large language models to be helpful, I've skipped over for the moment. So that's what I'm doing. I did Erlang and Elixir fairly early on after I'd actually finished the first 14 because I was curious. So that's why they're already done. But at the moment, I think on Monday, after I shoot this video, on Tuesday after I record this video, I'm going to be dabbling around with Factor, which is a stack-based language. So yeah. So anyway, I've digressed a bit from the original Rust quest, but there you go. Always like to sort of try and follow it up with a good excuse for saying where I am on this project each week, and this is a good opportunity to do it. So thanks once again for watching. Bye for now, and I will catch you in a future video.